So let's talk about the election being rigged a little bit more seriously. I said something a little bit sardonic about Rubio a few days ago, but Hillary Clinton controls the Democratic Party machinery. That is clear. And I actually do think that there is ample evidence that at least a handful of states were rigged through the process of ballot stuffing via early voting. I went over that in this space, and it is available on my channel in the Reacts section. If you look at the way the early voting was never in line with the day of voting, and that is a classic signal of a rigged election. I think anybody seriously analyzing the primary would actually come to the conclusion that at least some of the states were stolen. Now, it's not as clear that it was enough to make, I mean, it's hard to get causal about this, right? Because if he had won a certain state, then would that have made a difference somewhere else, right? And there were a lot of other factors. Like in New York, you couldn't vote in New York, right? She didn't have to rig New York. She just didn't let anybody vote there, and etc., right? But I do think that there is enough evidence to suggest that at least a few of the states were stolen. And I think that that is actually the academic opinion. That's not an obscure conspiracy theory. That's not an unfounded accusation. I think that is the academic truth. And that, in fact, it's people that are rejecting that are upholding a conspiracy theory. It's the classic signs of a rigged election. If that had happened in Russia, we'd all think it was stolen. Like I say, it's the difference on day of voting versus early voting. You don't expect the differences to be that profound. Arizona was one where it was really a really big difference. Um, I think she tried in Michigan but failed. I'm just trying to remember. Illinois, I think she rigged Illinois, and I think she rigged Missouri too. Illinois, Missouri, and Arizona. And Illinois and Missouri were on one of the big days, right? Where it would have really made a big difference. But I mean, it was only like they split delegates, right? And like it was all optical and all these kinds of things, right? That said, she doesn't control the federal government. She can't do what she did in the primaries to the federal election. It's easy. It would have been easy for her to control the Democratic Party and rig the elections. It would be very hard for her to control the federal government and rig the elections. And I would expect minor irregularities on both sides. Not as much as in the primaries, but there are irregularities every election, okay? Both parties cheat a little bit every election, but it balances out. And I ultimately do not think that she has the capability to actually steal the election. Nor do I think it will be necessary for her to do so, because she's winning by a very large margin. And on top of that, I don't believe that she is the clear choice of the establishment either. If the power elite were to steal an election, I don't think it's clear that they'd pick her. If the race was closer, she might try it. In fact, I think she would. Okay? And frankly, I think she'd get caught if she were to do so. So, if we want to talk about this, this possibility that she's only winning by a couple of points, and she thinks that she can, get ahead by stuffing some ballots in Philadelphia, she'd try it and she'd get caught. It's not necessary. She's going to win anyways. So, like, this is gonna come up. Yes, she probably did read the election, or some states, anyways. In the primary, it probably wasn't the exact reason that she won, although it's hard to know what the outcome would have been had she not stolen a handful of states. I don't think she's able to steal the federal election, and I don't think she needs to because I think she's winning by a large amount. Okay, it's not. Let's not make this stole the primary, therefore stole the general. That's not that's not a proper deduction. Let's not make that error.